What's up, guys? Max Scoville here for Destructoid. I'm at E3 2014, and I'm at the Konami booth. And in that very booth, I got to check out a 45-minute presentation about Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. During that presentation, it was all set during what I'm guessing is like the first mission in the Phantom Pain, which takes place 9 years after Ground Zeroes, after Big Boss has awoken from his coma, and he's got the cool robot arm, and he's hanging out with Revolver Ocelot, and they're in the desert, they're in Afghanistan, and the mission is to go and rescue Kaz Miller. Now we kind of saw like a rush sort of playthrough. It was kind of the nighttime approach, and Snake goes in on the horse and he shoots the guy, and it was just that was such a crash course of kind of basic game mechanics for a game that we really didn't know a whole lot about going in. This time they were definitely kind of taking their time. They had 45 minutes to show it off, and they really wanted to kind of walk us through the different things you could do in this game. I played Ground Zeroes. I liked it, but there was a whole lot of stuff that is distinctly Metal Gear that I felt was absent, namely the cardboard box and the kind of trademark sort of weird kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. Those things are very much in this game. We got to see that the box is back, and it is now extremely improved. Snake can pop out of the box and shoot guys out of the box, and if they see the box, he can dive out of it. Like he can use the box as a decoy. Like if they see the box and they're like, "What's this box doing here?" and they wander over to it, and if maybe they're facing the opposite direction, Snake can just dive out and run the other direction. So the box is there. It looks like a fun, cool new box. I'm excited to use it. In addition to that, there's some weird little touches that I thought were very funny. One thing you do is the Fulton retrieval system. That's sort of the weather balloon thing that was in Peace Walker. That's back, and it actually looks really great. I was always kind of weird with Peace Walker because the whole thing is you're sending all this stuff back to Mother Base, but it was just kind of a menu. There wasn't that much of an actual component. There wasn't a real level happening. In this case, you build Mother Base. Like you get to actually create that, and how you customize it will affect the physical place that you go to visit. And every single thing that you attach a weather balloon to, which I guess now includes like jeeps, sheep, dudes, just pretty much anything that you can really interact with in the game, you can attach a weather balloon to and send it back to your base, and then when you go back to your base, it will be there. You can tie a weather balloon to a sheep and send it back to your base, which is, of course, an offshore oil rig. And why would there be sheep there? Because this is a really strange video game in all the right ways. The retrieval system actually works both ways. Snake can call in an airdrop for supplies, which, it's one of those things I feel like it sounds like it could make the game too easy, and I feel like a lot of the mechanics they're introducing for this, obviously they made a lot of changes since, the previous Metal Gear games, they sound like they make the game too easy, but I definitely would say that's not the case. One thing you can do, though, that is amazing is you can call in an airdrop and have a box dropped on a guard's head. You can actually pinpoint where on the map you want to have this thing dropped, and if it's on top of a guy, it'll knock him out, and you can kill a man by dropping a box on his head. So Metal Gear Solid 5 is looking okay. We all kind of got familiar with the iDroid in Ground Zeroes. That's the cool smartphone that Snake has, even though it's set in the 70s and 80s. That doesn't make sense. It's an anachronism, whatever. It's back, and one thing is that tagging different places on the map is a big part of it. You zoom in with your binoculars, you tag enemies, you get their locations, but you can also set, I think, like up to, I don't know if there's a limit on it. You can set a number of different kind of points on the map. So if you really want to keep track of where you are, basically have kind of guideposts. I noticed this in Ground Zeroes is when you're staying low to the ground and you're sneaking around, you can frequently kind of lose your bearings and not really be sure where on the map you are. And because the game doesn't stop down when you check your map, that can get you killed real quick. So in this case, you basically kind of make a mark on the map of where things are, and it'll kind of show up on screen. I don't know. It's a nice little touch, but I'm interested to see what they're doing with it. In terms of basic, controls and combat and stuff like that, didn't see anything too much that we hadn't really seen before. We saw that Snake can hang off the side of the horse. We'd kind of seen that before. It's cool. I like the fact that you can ride a horse in the game. I like it even more that you can be a stealth horseman. I think that's a fun thing to do. Yeah, Snake can, again, I want to read it. Snake can tie a weather balloon to a Jeep, and the Jeep will just fly away. The Fulton recovery system is actually affected by the weather, which is, of course, totally randomized, procedurally generated, all that shit. A sandstorm blew in the middle of our demo, and apparently if it's during a sandstorm, that can actually really screw up if you're trying to, retrieve a hostage or send a guard back to Mother Base, and it's the middle of a sandstorm. That'll blow them off course, and then you lose a guy, I guess. There are raw diamonds throughout the game. I guess you can pick them up, and that helps you with your currency, which is then used for upgrading supplies and stuff back at Mother Base. Yeah, the whole thing with Ground Zeroes, people worried it was going to be too small. It was kind of stripped down, and This demo totally reassured me about pretty much everything I was hoping that would be there. I mean, the box is back. It's real cool. Snake can knock on stuff. Check this out. So before it was like you had to go up against a wall and knock on it. Now, the Snake has this robot arm, and the way he knocks, he just does this weird kind of cracking thing, like it's a noisemaker. Like he cracks his wrist, and he can do it anywhere. You don't need to be by a wall. So that's your new kind of distraction method. So I think that's good news. Yeah, came away from this feeling very pleased. It's Metal Gear Solid 5. One thing that I didn't really know what to make of it. One thing that I know will be kind of a bone of contention for some people because they still haven't accepted it is the whole fact that Kiefer Sutherland is now playing Snake. It's no more David Hayter. He didn't really have much to say in this demo. Like we kind of see the introduction thing, and Ocelot's like, go check that out. I don't know if I heard Kiefer talk once. I mean, they both have gruff, grizzly man voices, but it seems like Kiefer definitely kind of is quieter, and I'm guessing he probably costs more to have in a voice studio than David Hayter did, so that might have something to do with it, but we're definitely looking at a much quieter Snake. So the guy doing the demo was kind of taking the stealth route for the most part and, sneaking around doing the usual Snake thing, but eventually he got caught, and a bunch of guys started shooting at him, so he decided that the best option in that case would be to call in an airstrike. So he did that and had to get the fuck out of there because it basically blew up the entire base. Like he was just sprinting a good distance away. He got in a Jeep, started driving, and looked back. And this is not like a little like a poo poo poo. This is like a full-on just strafing run. And then he hopped in the helicopter, went back. One thing is when you're moving around in your helicopter, and apparently that actually plays much more of a role than the one in Ground Zeroes did, which is kind of just how you left the map. In this case, you'll be moving across the actual map, and I guess you can actually sustain damage while that's happening. So all those kind of weird little smaller missions in Ground Zeroes, like where you're just basically on rails and shooting out of the helicopter, it seems like that might actually come in handy if you're being shot at by dudes on the ground while you're just trying to get someplace. But yeah, Phantom Pain, dying to know what the hell the game is about. It's Kojima, so it's definitely going to be completely wacky and off the wall, but I'm so reassured that his kind of trademark, silliness and the box and the horse goes poop and you can tie a hot air balloon to a sheep. Yeah, I'm into it. Anyway, still no release date on that. Obviously, we're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. One thing that's worth noting is there's a graphic in there. There's this kind of chart they made that blocked out the size of all the different Metal Gear games, and it was kind of this progression of like here's the first one, here's the second one, the third, and so on, and kind of showing the exact physical space. The chart that these were spread out on was the entirety of the Phantom Pain map. So to say that this is larger than previous games is a vast understatement. Even Ground Zeroes is on there. It was a tiny little thing. And this is this massive, sprawling thing, and you're going to get to explore it as Snake, who now has shit sticking out of his forehead and a robot hand and a ponytail. Metal Gear Solid, everybody. Anyway, I'm Max Scoville for Destructoid here at E3. Go check out the rest of our coverage. I played Far Cry. I got to ride an elephant. Would you like to hear me talk about that? Because I will, in a different video. Anyway, check out the rest of our stuff on Destructoid.com. And, yeah, what's your favorite animal in Metal Gear Solid games? Let us know in the comments. See you later.